Hey everybody, welcome to Culinary Characters Unlocked. I'm David Page. On this episode, a twofer. First, the third-generation owner of a nearly 80-year-old Italian restaurant that won a 2026 James Beard America's Classics Award. Then, in a perfect pairing with Italian food, everything you ever wanted to know about olive oil from a big-time importer. But first, to Wheeling, West Virginia, home of Figaretti's Italian restaurant. Here's Dino Figaretti. Dino, how you doing? Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, David. Very much appreciated. It's an honor.
The honor's mine. You're a James Beard Award winner.
Thank you.
What'd you think when you heard that?
I was in shock, really.
Did it ever occur to you that something like this could happen?
No. We've received several local awards over the years for Best Italian Restaurant and that sort of thing, but never something nationwide like this. It's a real shocker to us. It's been great.
When you say Italian food, people think New York, maybe Philly. There's various places around the country that Americans think of when they think of Italian food. I don't think most people think of West Virginia. In fact, there's a long Italian-American history in your state, isn't there?
There sure is, yes. And most of that is from the coal mines here, the steel mills here. A lot of immigrants from Italy, Sicily immigrated here because of the good jobs.
This was the early 1900s, right?
Correct, yes. A lot of Italians were immigrating to West Virginia.
As you said, working in the coal mines, among other places, that gave us the pepperoni roll, didn't it? Something you miners could pack.
That is true. Yeah, that is true.
For most of America who is not familiar with West Virginia, define the pepperoni roll.
Well, here's the thing. You can't really define it because everybody makes it different. Some people make it with pepperoni sticks, some make it with slices, but it's basically just pizza dough, and they put pepperoni in it while it's raw, and maybe some cheese, maybe a little sauce. Like I said, everybody does it differently. And then they bake it off. And, it stays good. And the big thing behind that is, why the coal miners liked it, is they got some protein in them without it going bad. They could go down to coal mines all day and have to keep it refrigerated or any of that thing.
That's not something you get at a restaurant. I won't find that at your place, will I?
No, not in my place. We don't do pizza or pepperoni rolls, no.
You get it at the convenience store, I'm told, right?
A lot of local pizzerias will sell it to the gas stations and local grocery stores around here, yes. But there are a lot of pizza shops. Just about every pizza shop here in West Virginia will sell a pepperoni roll.
Let's go back to the history of your restaurant and your family.
Sure.
You talked about immigrants. Your family, who came over? Who started all this?
Actually, both sides of my family are from Sicily. Both sides of my family immigrated here from different towns in Sicily, but right around the same era in the early 1900s.
This all started with your great-grandmother, right? Anna Figaretti?
That is true. Actually, Giuseppe, her husband, immigrated here in 1908, came to Wheeling, West Virginia, as a matter of fact, and started working in the coal mines, trying to make enough money to where he could eventually bring the rest of his family here to America, which he eventually did. It took a few years, but he finally saved up enough money and they immigrated here in Wheeling, West Virginia.
His wife, your great-grandmother, Anna, did she come over with him?
Yes.
Tell me the story. Apparently, she started making sauce for the neighbors?
She made it for the neighbors, but she also started selling it. Back then, there was a lot of little local grocery stores throughout the neighborhoods that everybody went to. So, they jarred it and sold it to them. She would sell it to individuals too. She would go from house to house. She had 5 kids. They were all boys. They were all within 7 or 8 years of each other, too. So she was a busy mommy. As they got older, they helped her out and took more interest in it.
At some point, the sauce business turned into a restaurant. What happened?
What happened was the 5 brothers back then, and I mean, it's still true now, they were so tight that it was, listen, we're all going to take care of each other. Whatever we do, we're a family here and we're all going to take care of each other. So the sauce became popular in town. When they were jarring it, it became very popular. They were selling quite a bit of it. And then one of the brothers, his name was Tony, really took an interest in cooking and learned a lot from Anna. He went to work at a local restaurant in town here in Wheeling. He was the head chef there, and it became one of their staples, the spaghetti sauce. It just really took off. A lot of people were coming from different parts of the state just to try this unique spaghetti sauce.
He's working at somebody else's restaurant, but he's making his mom's sauce there.
Well, him and his mom, and came up with this. Yeah, they did. They tweaked the sauce a little bit.
What kind of sauce is it? Is it a marinara?
It's a marinara sauce. Yeah, some people call it tomato marinara. The one that we jar, it's my brother's business. My brother actually owns this jarring business. There's no meat in it. It's a great base for a lot of things. I mean, you make lasagna out of it, stuffed shells, eggplant parmesan, chicken parmesan, that sort of thing. And my brother's stuck with just the marinara sauce. He does no other.
Okay, so back to the story. Tony's working at a local restaurant.
Yep.
Everybody loves the sauce.
Everybody loved it.
When did he and the other brothers decide, well, hell, let's open our own restaurant?
1948. Like I said, they all, kind of took care of each other, and the sauce became so popular, they found a location here in Wheeling, renovated it, worked really hard. Uncle Tony and his 4 brothers led it. Their parents were around, but never were really actually involved in the working capacity there. But, they were supportive, and they gathered up enough money to go to the bank, get a loan, and they started Figaretti's restaurant, 1948. And it took off from there.
Serving what?
Mostly spaghetti. And it's funny because I bring the menu out sometimes, and it's like 25 cents for one pork chop and, 50 cents for a strip steak and things like that. They had meat and seafood. So they weren't just a pasta house. They had other things, but they were built on a spaghetti sauce. And that's what people came all over to have.
This is what we would call in New Jersey red sauce cooking, which is Italian American. It evolved from the food in Italy, but it ain't the same, is it?
No. Actually, a lot of people don't realize that our sauce, it doesn't even have garlic in it. There's a lot of different things to our sauce that's unique. It has fennel seed and fennel ground in it, which a lot of people find curious, but it's kind of something that people come back for once they taste it.
Italian American food evolved. I mean, yes, it was created by Italians who came here, but we have different ingredients here, as I understand it. Frankly, for people who were used to poverty, there was more meat available here. So it really is its own cuisine.
100%. Yeah. And obviously, as I learned more about James Beard, that's kind of what he focused on too, was American. He wanted to let everybody know, hey, French are good. They cook very well, but we can cook very well here in America too. So let's just not rely on French cuisine and their recipes. Let's make sure we zero in on our own here.
When did your parents get involved in the restaurant?
So the 5 brothers, one of them was my grandfather, Frank Chichi Figaretti. My dad worked at the restaurant with those 5 brothers for a long time. Eventually, they all 5 had passed away. My dad had been there working for years and years, and him and my mom got together. My mom is Tina Figaretti, and they purchased a restaurant from the surviving family.
When would that have been?
1978, 79.
So did you kind of grow up in the restaurant?
I sure did. It was all I knew, really. I worked there a lot. I learned the business from a young man. I really did. The thing is, though, is I loved it. I mean, there was never a point where I said to myself, man, this is just, I enjoyed the restaurant business. I still do to this day. It's certainly changed over the years.
How's it changed?
Oh, man, so many things have changed. I mean, I think that dining out was different maybe back in the 70s and 80s than what it is now. But the thing about Figaretti's is we always stayed the same. Our big motto was we greet people at the door. We make them feel at home. I mean, I know that's sometimes a cliche with Italian restaurants. Come on, your family, you're at your house. But we really did. That was one of the things that my parents' put down on them, said, you got to do this. You got to make people welcome. Today, it's still what we do every day and night.
Some kids grow up in a restaurant family and never want to work in a restaurant again.
No doubt. A lot.
Did you ever leave? Did you work anywhere else?
Yeah, I've had a lot of different careers over the years. I was in sales for really most of my life. I actually just retired from pharmaceuticals. I did pharmaceutical sales for 23 years. Before that, I sold cellular phones, sold cars. I've always been in sales all my life, which, financially, the restaurant business has always been good to me, but I always just wanted a little bit more. I've always thought that I had a good enough head on my shoulders where I could go out in the professional field also and do well for myself and my family. Wasn't always easy carrying that many jobs.
While you were working at the restaurant?
While I'm working at the restaurant, yeah, sure did. Like I said, I just retired from pharmaceuticals 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 6. But up until then, yeah. So I've owned the restaurant 32 years. I bought it from my dad 32 years ago, and I've always had several jobs.
And we'll be right back. You buy the restaurant from your folks.
Yes.
Then what? I mean, did you say, I got to modernize it? Did you say, I got to keep it exactly the way it's always been? What was your mission?
It was all of that, but it wasn't anything immediate. I wasn't in any hurry to change the menu or change the atmosphere. Everything that was already in place for me. I mean, when I bought it from my dad, it was what I wanted. I helped him open it, but I was living an hour or so away in Morgantown, West Virginia. Like I said, I was working in sales. So when he told me that he was going to open up this new location, I wasn't dead set on getting back in the restaurant business, but eventually I said, yeah, I'm going to do it. I just eventually fell back in love with it and said, yeah, I'm going to move back to Wheeling. And my wife and I bought the restaurant from my dad. He was getting a little older, and I told him, this is going to give you an opportunity to relax a little bit and enjoy life. Let me run this restaurant. Still be here, and he's still there every day. So nothing has changed there. But yeah, I did. We made a lot of changes.
Is your dad still with us?
He's still alive. He's 84 years old.
Oh, more power to him.
Yep. He's 84. He's doing well. He's in Florida right now where he likes it. It's a lot warmer there. He's enjoying life a little bit more nowadays.
You said dining out was different in the 70s. In what way?
A lot of people dressed up a lot nicer those days. It was more of a celebration to go out and eat and celebrate the family and friends. Things just kind of got more casual over the years. A lot more people are eating out these days, and it's not just always a special occasion. It's just, hey, we're hungry, let's go out to eat. But I will tell you this, I've noticed my consumers, they trend to be pretty particular about things.
How's that?
They want a good meal. David, I was probably 4 or 5 years ago, I did raise my prices a little bit. That was the first time in, a long time. After COVID, we had to raise the prices a little bit. And when you raise prices, you got to really be on top of your game. You can't just be doing the same things you're doing before you raise your prices. You got to be better. And we continue to try to do that on a daily basis. And the ways I do that is I communicate every day, probably too much, a lot of my staff would say, but I communicate with them all day long and all night. They know what's expected of them. I'm not just saying this. I'm blessed with the best staff ever. Without them, there's just no way we would be in this position. I work hard on my staff. I treat them great. If there's personal things that they want to talk about, I'm always there to help them with it, which I appreciate. I respect their work-life balance a lot, which is critical nowadays. A lot of people have kids, different things come up with the kids with school or sports or whatever, and you got to be understanding of that. I am. And more, I'm a lot more understanding of it.
Let's talk about your food. How homemade is it?
Well, it's as homemade as you can get, actually. I mean, our sauce is homemade. Our meatballs are homemade. Our sausage is homemade. We make our lasagna every day. We make all of our dressings every day. We make our stuffed shells. Our biggest seller, David, is probably our chicken parmesan, an 8-ounce chicken parmesan. We fillet it open. We pound it out a little bit. We put the salt and pepper on it. We bread it. We do two things, which a lot of people, I don't know, do. We fry and bake our chicken parmesan. We will flash fry it, get a good crust on it. And then I like to bake it off. We'll put a little chicken base on there and bake it off. Makes it a little more moist inside and a little more tender. And it's just tastier overall.
You do all the parms, right? You got what? Eggplant, chicken, veal?
Yeah, we make our eggplant. We slice our eggplant every day. We make it. We make our lasagna every day, which is super popular.
I live in Jersey, where Italian sandwiches are big. I'm looking at your fig Italian sandwich. Tell me about that.
It comes with 3 meats, capicola, prosciutto, and salami. We put grilled onions on there. We use a really good provolone cheese and a good toasted ciabatta bread. Our Italian dressing is one of our more popular items too. People go crazy over our Italian dressing. And we serve it with our Italian dressing on the side.
You named a dish after yourself.
I did. I actually have a couple of things on there named after myself. I cook a lot, David. I cook a lot. I'm in the kitchen a lot. Now, these days, I'm a little more out front of the house because I'm blessed with some really good guys in the kitchen. So I'm able to come out and greet the people more, which is what built our restaurant. But yeah, I used to cook a lot and I traveled, I tried different recipes around, but the Dino special is something actually that my Uncle Frank and I were just casually eating one night, and we had a plate of spaghetti and decided to add a little bit of butter and garlic to it and fresh parsley and some white wine. So we dappered it up, little red pepper seed, and man, added a twist to our own marinara sauce. So it's our marinara with a twist.
I'm looking at the description, pan-fried fettuccine. Who fries fettuccine?
We do. We put the sauce in a skillet and we put the fettuccine in there and let it cook a little bit. I don't know if you ever seen some recipes, but there's actually a recipe out there called the Assassin. And the Assassin is a pasta that's really cooked long and hot in a skillet. Kind of gives it like a little crustiness to the pasta noodle.
I'm familiar with fried ravioli from St. Louis, but not the Assassin.
Yeah, look up that recipe. It's good.
I will. What else did you name after yourself?
I named a bruschetta salad after me. My wife and I were in Little Italy in New York some years back, and they served me a chopped salad, and they called it a bruschetta salad. And man, I fell in love with it. And I just added a few different things to it, added my own twist to it, and it's served with some really good garlic bread, which I like to do with that salad. The thing with that salad, too, is it could be used as a base. You can add a lot of things to it. You can add shrimp to it, chicken, whatever you want. But it comes with meat and cheese, the same meats that go on the Italian sandwich.
I'm looking at your Fig's famous appetizer. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it's our homemade sausage. We make our sausage.
Someone's in the kitchen grinding sausage?
No, my brother actually makes the sauce. He makes the sausage for me. So he has a USDA inspected commercial kitchen. And you probably haven't seen my restaurant, but we're relatively small. Our kitchen isn't very big. So we really don't have the capabilities of doing that in our place. So I have my brother do it for us. We buy it from him and it works out great for the both of us.
What is it? It's Italian sausage links with pepper. Well, sausage, peppers, and onions. How can you go wrong?
You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong.
You think red sauce Italian gets enough respect?
I don't know. I mean, I guess my family, it was built on the red sauce. But, it's funny you say that because we do a lot of different ones now. Our Alfredo sauce is super popular.
There's controversy over how you make the correct Alfredo sauce.
It's so controversial, right?
What do you guys do? What's the right way?
In Italy, they say you don't touch heavy cream with it. You just use butter. If you say you put heavy cream in it, they go, what are you, nuts? Heavy cream. But then different parts of Italy, they don't even sell it. They go, no, we've never even heard of Alfredo sauce. But guess what? Our Alfredo sauce is very popular.
Well, how do you make it?
A lot of heavy cream.
You use heavy cream?
Heavy cream and a lot of butter, too. We do almost 50-50, yeah. And ours has a lot of garlic in it. I like the garlic in the Alfredo. Just a little bit of chopped onions, some white pepper goes good in that, a little bit of salt. But Alfredo is a very simplistic recipe. You got to keep it simple.
What's the best pasta for Alfredo? Fettuccine, I guess?
I think a lot of people would say rigatoni, probably. We serve a penne rigatoni. We also have the bigger rigatonis for different dishes, but we mostly serve the penne rigatoni. It's the most popular.
And by the way, before we started recording, I asked you if you're a chef. You said no, but now you tell me you're doing all this cooking. I should call you chef.
No, I never go by chef. I'll tell you this. I'll be honest. I'll give you my 100%. This might hurt some people's feelings. I've worked with some chefs. I have a couple of chefs working for me now. It is what it is, but they may know certain things better than a regular so-called cook. But at my restaurant, it comes down to hard work and grit. The chefs come in handy. They do some nice specials. They're more apt to keep the place absolutely meticulously clean. They have their certain traits that I need and respect out of them because they put in the time and education to have that title. So it should be respected.
But you're doing what you learned to cook at home?
100%. That's it. And, I just learned over the years. I started cooking at our other restaurant probably when I was 14, 15 years old. I was head cook at 17.
You mean an earlier location of this restaurant?
Right. Our first restaurant. Right.
You were the head cook at 17?
I was. Yes, I sure was. I was the head cook and I loved it.
How did that go, running a kitchen?
There was nobody else there and I just knew it. I just picked it up and I was good at it. I'm not bragging, but I was better than anybody else there, anybody else we could hire. I showed up every day or else I'd get my butt kicked if I didn't.
Yeah, you were volunteered for the job, I guess.
I wanted it. I wanted that position.
Coming right back. What is the pressure? You've got a legacy restaurant. You have your family's reputation at stake. What kind of pressure is there not to screw things up?
A lot. There's a lot of pressure. I'll be honest with you, though. I have a great family around me that supports me 100%. My son Enzio is always around to help out. My wife always supports me. She knows I work long hours, so she's hung in there with me over the years. But yeah, even without the award, the pressure was always there. I have a lot of family around here, a lot of aunts, uncles, cousins, that sort of thing. So they all want us to see good. They all want us to keep the tradition going. And in today's today's world, the restaurant business is not always easy. The profit margins aren't that great.
Well, that's an understatement,
Yeah, for sure.
How do you do that? I mean, economically, independent restaurants are dropping like flies. How do you compete?
You keep a close eye on everything. You just got to keep a close eye on everything. And David, to be honest, you got to be busy. A lot of restaurants in today's world, you got to be busy 7 days a week. There's just no other way. I don't know how some restaurants even close some of the restaurants around the valley here, they close 2 days a week and maybe they only open in the evenings 4 or 5 of those days. I don't know how they do it. I really don't. If I had the answer, maybe I would do it and wouldn't have to work as hard. But to me, if I closed one day, because we're busy 7 days a week. So I couldn't give up one day. It wouldn't be the right thing to do for my employees and my family. And I'll be honest, we're just not making the profit that we used to, but we're blessed that I don't need to make $300,000 or $400,000 in the restaurant business, thankfully. And maybe working sales and working my tail off for the amount of years that I have helped that. I just don't have to pull as much maybe that other owners would have to pull from their restaurants. I got a meeting next week with my food service company as Performance. Can't say enough good things about them. My food service guy and I, we were kind of buddies before he started selling to me, and now we're like best friends, and that helps tremendously. We work together a lot. Just about every day we talk, and we identify products every week. Maybe he's seeing a price increase come up, and he might say, Fig, you might want to buy 4 or 5 cases of this because the next month or two it's going to go up. Or he might see napkins that went up in price and he might say, hey, Fig, we got a different brand. It's pretty similar, like what you want to see it. So we identify a lot of things to try and save without giving up quality.
Well, can you compete with the chains financially? On menu prices, for example?
I don't know that I have to. We sit at maximum 74 people. That's our maximum occupancy. Like I said before, we're blessed to be filled up 7 nights a week. Our lunches are pretty decent, but 7 nights a week we're filled up. Why is that? Well, because of all the things that we've done over the years to keep our tradition going. So do I have to compete with them? I don't know. I think competition's good. So if I see somebody, they're doing a lot of marketing, a lot of advertising, that sort of thing, maybe I might tend to do something on social media a little bit more, that sort of thing. But back in 1948, when my grandparents opened up their restaurant, there was probably 3 restaurants in the whole city and the surrounding areas. When people went out to eat, they didn't have too many choices. So yeah, there's a lot of choices now. And there's competitions, not just from chains. I have local restaurants around here that give me competition.
Are people eating out less because of the economy?
Everybody's got a lot of choices, you got a lot of choices. I stress this to my staff all the time. When people come in, they had a choice to come there. They could have went to a lot of different places. Let's separate ourselves. Let's be better at everything we do than our competition. Let's be better. And that's what we strive to do.
Do you feel a need to update the menu? Are there changes in the future, or are you locked in?
I don't know that I would change much. What got us here is what got us here. We've had 2 meetings already with my staff about what this James Beard Award means to us. Not just me, not just to the restaurant, but my staff. Everybody's got to step it up, and that's what I've stressed to them. Everybody's got to make sure they're dressed properly. Everybody's got to come in with a clear mind and ready to work. Everybody's got to get along. Everybody's got to work hard and communicate. Those are the things that, yes, I am really communicating hard with my staff right now. So there is some pressure that, yeah, we're good at what we do. Now that we got this award, we really got to step it up. Am I going to change the menu? Not at this time. I don't have any plans on doing that. I don't have any plans on raising prices. We're not going to go down that road. Hopefully, we'll just do more business.
You're the 3rd generation.
I am. My son Enzio is the 4th.
Can I talk to Enzio?
Sure, he's right over here.
Enzio, how old are you?
I'm 23 years old.
How long you been working in the restaurant?
I've been working in the restaurant since, as long as I can remember. If I wasn't working there, I was running around causing a ruckus. So went there from the hospital, didn't even go home first. So I've been there my whole life.
That's true. We did take him to the restaurant first. The hospital is just a half a mile away. You got to go past the restaurant. So yeah, that's a true story. We did. We brought him there first. Everybody wanted to see him.
So when your dad says, I'm done with this, you're taking it over?
That's the plan.
Gonna change anything? He won't listen. Just between you and me.
You see restaurants try to modernize, and in some essence, that is true. You do need to modernize. You do need to keep up with times, whether that be changing the menu or changing the atmosphere. I think our place kind of stands alone, and you don't really need to do much of that. Like he said, our food and our atmosphere is what got us here. together. You don't find what we do very often. We're very proud of that, and we don't have any intent to kind of change the experience you have when you come to our restaurant. Modernization, we've gone through that. COVID definitely kicked us in the butt with modernizing ourselves with online delivery, online ordering, social media outreach, things like that. We changed. We had to. So I think change just comes with time. Change comes when necessary. No need to step back and reinvent the wheel because it's what got us here. So we're pretty happy, not content, obviously, was what he was saying. We've always got room to grow. We've always got room to get better. So change is a good thing sometimes, but in some instances, it might not need to be changed. Don't fix what's not broken.
You're very good at that. Did you take marketing classes?
I did. I did my fair share of marketing classes in college. I did.
Well, you guys seem to have things well in hand, Enzio. Thank you, and good luck going forward. And Dino, it's been a pleasure talking with you. Congratulations on the James Beard Award.
David, thank you so much.
And thank you for taking the time to chat with me. It's been a delight.
It's been my pleasure. If you're ever around the area, I invite you to come to Figaretti's restaurant, Enzio and I, and take great care of you.
If I am down in that neck of the woods, I am definitely coming to see you.
Please do that.
Dino and Enzio Figaretti. And hey, don't go anywhere. This episode isn't over. Up next, someone else following a family tradition. He knows everything most of us don't about olive oil. Like, how do you find the good stuff? And how much should you really pay for it? His company imports some of the finest olive oil on earth. Here's Nate Bradley. Nate, how are you? Thanks for doing this.
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for having me.
How do you end up in the olive oil business?
My family's been in the business for close to 100 years. So we're the oldest continuously operated olive oil company, family-owned olive oil company in the United States. The name of that company is Veronica Foods. So since 1924, I grew up in it. And frankly, I never wanted to really pursue it. I went away to college to study something else, wanted to get into teaching actually. And then I kind of came back and started traveling with my dad and learning about it. And then 15 years ago, my sister and I opened our first retail location focused around olive oil with these vats of stainless steel called Fusties filled with olive oil and vinegar. And kind of the rest is history. I have 3 other locations now. So it's in my blood, and it's been in there, again, a long time, since 1924. I resisted as long as I could, and then I fell in love with it.
Was it your grandparents who opened the business? Your great-grandparents?
Great-grandparents came over from Naples, Italy to Ellis Island, from Ellis Island to Oakland, California. We've been out of Oakland, California ever since.
And were they involved with olive oil in Italy?
Yeah. Currently, I have a retail store. We supply a bunch of retail stores, in fact, with oils and vinegars on tap. Lemon, orange, lime, all sorts of infused oils, infused balsamic vinegars. 100 years ago, this company was nothing like that, obviously. So they didn't have lemon olive oil and truffle olive oil back then. So it was more focused around Italian products. My great-grandfather had tomato sauces and stuff like that. Olive oil was a small portion of the business back then. And I would say in the last 30 or 40 years, my folks specifically really started focusing on high-quality olive oil because no one was really focusing on fresh, high-quality extra virgin olive oil. And after that, it kind of took off. And we started opening these retail stores focused on presenting high-quality olive oil, tasting it, educating the public, and it's kind of taken off and taken a whole new head since then.
I can think of no product in broader use that is less understood than olive oil.
Yep.
You go to the supermarket, look at all this stuff on the shelves, and you wonder, is it real? Is it pure? What does the label mean?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, there's a really good chance when I'm buying olive oil that I'm getting taken. Is there not?
Yeah. So it's gotten a little bit better recently, but there's been a few studies. The one that we tend to reference is the UC Davis olive oil study that kind of flipped the market on its head a little bit. It showed that about 70% of what was labeled extra virgin olive oil wasn't actually extra virgin olive oil. It wasn't necessarily other oils. In some cases, in bad cases, there were other oils being added to it. But in a lot of cases, it just didn't meet the spec of extra virgin olive oil that you thought you were getting. It was either rancid, past its prime, fusty, musty. It missed one of the chemical parameters it had to adhere to for extra virgin olive oil. One of the questions we always ask people, we do a lot of these presentations, and we say, who can name 3 types of olives they make olive oil out of? No one can do it. There's thousands of varietals of olives. And then we said, who can name 3 types of wine grapes they make wine out of? Everyone in the room could name that. Everyone's got like you said, everyone's got a bottle of olive oil in your cabinet. You have no idea what olive was even in there in most cases. That's always one thing I tell people to start looking for. Look for the type of olive in your olive oil. If you can't find that, in my opinion, that's kind of one of the first red flags. If it's not generally a single varietal extra virgin olive oil, I'd be a little hesitant to buy it. Generally, companies that are doing this the right way will put the type of olive on the bottle. If you can't find that, which generally a blend of, in our opinion, lesser quality olives from all over the world blended together and then shipped to your local supermarket. So there's a lot of different things you can look for to kind of help you weed through mostly, in our opinion, lower quality and in some cases, non-extra virgin olive oils that you think are extra virgin.
Let's start with the simplest definition. What the hell is extra virgin?
Extra virgin olive oil is the easiest way to define it, and there's a specific definition, but it's essentially the fruit juice that comes out of the olive without being manipulated, without adding any chemicals to help extract that juice. It can't have any defects. And the last thing, the more complicated definition, it has to adhere to several different chemical parameters that make it extra virgin. Extra virgin is the highest grade. Under extra virgin, you get virgin and lower beyond that. Now, a lot of what you will see on a bottle will say cold pressed or first pressed. Cold pressed just simply means that they extracted the juice from the olive paste under 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's not necessarily what you assume to be cold pressed. First pressed just means that they didn't run the paste back through a second extraction to get a little bit more juice out of that olive oil paste. And then the last thing is it can't have any defects, meaning I was mentioning defects earlier, fusty, musty, rancid. Those are all taste defects or sensory defects that extra virgin olive oil can't have to be called extra virgin olive oil. One of the other things you always want to look for, I'll never take home an oil again that doesn't have a peppery, grassy, or bitter component to it.
Most olive oil is in some way bitter. Is that bad?
No. If it's too bitter, it's unbalanced and it's an unpalatable olive oil. But generally, bitter, peppery, grassy are generally signs of freshness in olive oil. And they're also signs of polyphenols. Polyphenols are the main health component of extra virgin olive oil. So the higher the polyphenol count, the more bitter, peppery your olive oil is going to be. And again, that's half the reason you're consuming extra virgin olive oil to get those health benefits. So if your oil is devoid of the bitterness, the pepper, the grassy notes, you're probably either getting an older oil or it's lost a lot of what made that healthy in terms of polyphenols. If you're looking for anything that tells you, I guess, the quality that can kind of steer you in the right direction, you want to look for the harvest date in your olive oil. Freshness with olive oil almost trumps everything else. If you can get an olive oil that was made a month ago, it's almost more important than almost anything else. And our customers have come so accustomed to that, they try to time it. Every 6 months, they time the new harvest coming in. In September or October, we're getting olives from California, Italy, Spain, Greece, Portugal, Tunisia, all the countries we associate with olive oil. Most people don't even think about the Southern Hemisphere with olive oil because it's kind of a newer thing. We learned about 25 years ago, you harvest from 2 hemispheres, you get a fresh crop every 6 months. We're getting olives from Peru, Chile, Australia, South Africa, say Uruguay, Argentina. If you're only getting from Italy, you're missing out on a whole nother harvest, a whole nother 6 months of freshness. You're missing out on that olive oil. And generally the flavor dissipates and the health benefits dissipate over time.
How long can I keep olive oil in my cupboard?
That is the hardest question we have to answer on a daily basis. The first question I would ask you is, when was that olive oil made? If your olive oil is 2 years old already and it's in your cabinet, it's probably bad already. There's a lot of people with 1.5 year old olive oil that they bought yesterday in their cabinet right now. So when was it made? The second thing I would ask you is, what's the chemistry of the olive oil? And I know this isn't simple, but what are the polyphenols? Polyphenols are antioxidants. They prevent your oil from oxidizing. So if you have a higher polyphenol count, you get a longer shelf life. In general, when you take a bottle of our stuff home, we like you to use it in about 9 to 11 months. Once you open that bottle, the lower you get on that bottle, the more oxygen's in that bottle. So if you have a full bottle that has very little air in it, just like wine, it's going to have a longer shelf life opposed to a half full bottle that has all that air in it. The thing we have to break to people all the time is that bottle you bought on vacation in Italy 3 years ago, in Greece, in Napa, that you haven't wanted to open because it's so expensive or so special to you, it tastes nothing like the day you bought it 2 or 3 years ago. It's probably rancid at this point, unfortunately. Whenever we do a tasting, we throw a rancid olive oil in the tasting, and people say, oh my God, it tastes like what I have in my cabinet right now. And if you're going from that being people's baseline, something that had no flavor, to then a fresh olive oil that has bitterness, green notes, peppery notes, they're going to say, what the hell hell is this fresh olive oil? I'm used to something that is devoid of any of those things. It's just a liquid fat. So the majority of people in the United States are probably used to rancid olive oil, or in some cases, an olive oil that's cut with a less flavorful oil, be it canola or a seed oil that's flat. Part of educating people and part of what we do, we have about 60 oils and vinegars on tap. We encourage people to taste before they buy. Once they taste it and they say, oh my God, that's peppery. Well, why is that peppery? Your olive oil should be peppery. If your olive oil has no pepper, no bitterness, half the reason you're consuming extra virgin olive oil is the health benefits. So you're missing out on that whole thing, right? Once people learn about that, they start appreciating it. It's like anything else. Good beer, good coffee, good wine. There's so many other parallels in other industries like that.
Well, how do I figure out what's good olive oil and what isn't?
That is an individual experience. You need to taste and figure out what you like. Some people like really buttery olive oil. We have buttery olive oils on tap. Generally, that's not my favorite. And generally, that's what people are starting out with when they're first getting into real extra virgin olive oil. They want something buttery, kind of light, which is totally fine. As people kind of mature, I would say their palates mature, they learn about the health benefits you're getting from these stronger oils. We see them progress into the stronger ones. Kind of have to have a range for people. And I would never tell someone, oh, that's not okay to like that olive oil. Unless it's rancid or has a defect, then I have no problem. But if it's extra virgin and you happen to have a fondness for it, even if it's not my favorite, I will say, okay, that's what you like. Just like anything else.
Well, it's like wine in that respect, I guess, also.
It is like wine, totally.
So what should I use olive oil for? Should I be cooking with it? The criticism of cooking with olive oil is that it has a relatively low smoke point, does it not?
That is a myth. If I'm barbecuing, I'm using extra virgin olive oil. If I'm frying an egg for my daughter in the morning, I'm using a high quality extra virgin olive oil. It's the healthiest, most stable fat you can cook with. There's different olive oils that are going to impart different flavors on your dish, right? So if you use a really strong olive oil for a very delicate dish, you're going to taste some of that olive oil in the end product. Now, from a culinary standpoint, there's chefs that would say, well, I'm doing this very delicate shrimp or light white fish. I want to use a very fruity, delicate olive oil. Or you know what? I'm using this big hearty dish. I need an olive oil that's going to stand up to that. That's not going to get lost. And so then they would take a really robust olive oil in that sense. I tend to like medium to robust olive oils, and I cook almost everything in that style of olive oil. There's a million applications depending on what you're cooking. But generally what we will say is find a really good olive oil that you love the flavor of and kind of use it for everything. That's generally what I do for the most part.
You give classes?
Yeah, we do an olive oil 101 class. We have 4 local stores. I'm located in the Bay Area, California. They're tasting rooms. People come in and taste the olive oil before they buy it. After hours, we offer these classes. We'll make a bunch of different food featuring our oils and vinegars. We'll do blood orange olive oil brownies. We'll do some smoked salmon with a leek olive oil from Greece that we finish right over the top. Homemade hummus. We'll give them all these recipes. They get to enjoy a full meal. As they're eating, we start going over what we call olive oil 101. So it's like our top 20 questions we're asking these people. What's the largest olive oil producing country? Most people have no idea. That's Spain, generally. We say, can you cook with olive oil? We'll say, does the bottle matter your olive oil comes in, which we haven't even talked about. You always want to buy your olive oil in dark glass or stainless steel. Most people understand that. They get that. They've heard that. But why can you go to every grocery store in the United States and buy clear plastic bottles of olive oil? Light destroys olive oil quicker than anything else.
The concept of a dish of oil on the table to dip bread into, I spent a fair amount of time working in Italy and I never saw it.
Right.
Is that traditional or did we invent that in the US? And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just curious.
It's a very American thing to do that. And then add the Parmesan cheese or whatever else in there with the generally really tart balsamic vinegar. If you took all those things out of it and just said, I want just to taste the oil. I want to taste what your oil is with bread and let's judge this. We judge a restaurant sometimes based on the oil they put out. They're putting out rancid olive oil. I'm assuming they're doing other things that I don't like in the back of the house.
And as a consumer, what should I be paying?
There's a cost to making good extra virgin olive oil. If you're looking at $2.99, $3.99 for a jug of olive oil, I can almost guarantee it's going to be crap for the most part. Let's just say that.
Where's the good stuff start?
In my opinion, so we sell a 750 ml is $21 for a 750 ml. Most companies that are trying to get into the good olive oil business will sell that 750 ml for 40, 50, 60. Now I'm seeing like 80. To me, that's totally out of whack. So you have to cover your basic price to make good olive oil. Once you cover that and you make a little bit of money, all this other stuff is, in my opinion, BS. It's similar to the wine industry. You could make an incredible bottle of wine for $30 and it probably costs you the same amount as that $100 bottle of wine you bought or $200 bottle of wine. Unfortunately, in the olive oil industry, no one's buying that $100 bottle of olive oil. So if you have a $100 bottle of olive oil, I don't care if it's great, it's probably sitting on the shelf. The last thing you want your olive oil to do is sit on the shelf. But in general, I think you should be able to get a really excellent bottle of olive oil for around $20, $25.
And if someone wanted to get a real excellent bottle of olive oil from you, what's your website?
Thank you very much. So my website is Amphora, Amphora. That's the name of my company. Amphora are these ancient vessels that they used to store olive oil in. If you've been to Europe, you've probably seen them. We have amphoras all over our stores. And our website is Amphora, Amphora, Nueva, Nueva.com, amphoranueva.com.
Nate, it's been highly educational and a pleasure chatting with you. Thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you, David. It was a pleasure sitting down with you, and thanks for giving me a little time to talk about what I'm passionate about, and I really appreciate it.
Nate Bradley on Culinary Characters Unlocked. I'm David Page. I'll see you next time. And check out the Culinary Characters Unlocked Substack